Cool. You ever accidentally crash a game as you start stream? Oh, there we go. Alright. I know for sure if I fast travel somewhere, it's gonna break. What was... Alright, there we go. Ah, perfect. This is gonna take a while. Oh, whatever. It happens. Pick me up. Where you could go. Oh, shit. Hey T. To be fair, as last year, we haven't played this in a long time, so you probably haven't missed much. But yeah. Hey Muzz. What's that? Oh. That's new. You think you uninstalled it? Oh. Fair enough. So, good friend Alice purchased me the Heavy Cargo DLC. But I'm not sure which is Heavy Cargo or not. This is like a new trailer, so this may be Heavy Cargo. I don't know why I'm even bothering to... Oh, that's bad. Okay. I'm not completely back in the zone apparently. Cool. But yeah, I got some time to kill, so I thought, you know what? Let's truck. That's how I reverse as in first person. Like when I drop off cargo. Oh, hello lag. Whew. That sure was lag. Oh, don't hit that. Close. Parking's gonna be interesting though, like dropping off my load. It's been a while. Yeah, I got American Truck Sim. I'm just waiting for more content, to be honest. Like, the world design is really nice and stuff, but it's actually quite small. You see the same places so often, you know? Like, you usually end up going in like one highway in each state, and that's all you really see, you know? Like, the world's really detailed, but it's lacking stuff. Like, there's only... last time I played, there were only 3 trucks available. You know. They did make the world bigger, actually. They, rescaled it. Which is pretty decent, but... yeah. I think once it's got a few more states where I can do massive long journeys, then I'll probably be more interested. And like, going across states doesn't feel the same as going through countries. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, that's another thing. It's all desert, right? It's all fucking desert at the moment. It's nice going through the desert at night. I'll give them that, but yeah. You can actually see I played too much American Truck because I've got an well, I changed my dashboard to European American because I was just too used to it. Oh, what was that weird noise? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, and they started building on the desert side, right? Oh. I think New Mexico. Oh, got drifting that lane. New Mexico's the next one. And Utah's in the works, so...
Attention, ouverture de la porte spatio-temporelle dans 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, think of all that extra desert.
Salut tout le monde! Voici le meilleur des 70s, 80s. Rosalie Getty, un délirium spatio-temporel réalisé avec la complicité de Jean-Luc
These,
Seven au micro, vous savez ce que je fais là? Alors,
leg spikes, pretty major, I must say.
L'émission qui met ta mère et ton père dans tous leurs états.
It's another person. There's quite a few other people. Extra desert with a side of artificial green. Oh hell yeah. As that horn just started out, yep. My horn is... It's a beast of mythical proportions now. Even in game it's super loud, like for other people to hear. Oh yeah. Yawning already. Is Europe 2 actually speed limited now? I haven't seen me go above 88. Oh shit. Man. To be fair, I don't mind speed limiters.
c'est un clin d'œil à Wilson Pickett avec une version très Beach Boys, enfin je veux dire très plage de Land of
Stops me doing stupid shit.
Maintenant que nous avons capté votre attention, changement de style. Séquence, je me la pète. 1, 2, 3, 4. C'est le bon moment pour se faire une tranche disco, vous trouvez pas? On pourrait, je sais pas moi, monter le volume, ouvrir la fenêtre.
Sounds like my truck or my cargo keeps making a mechanical sound though, and I'm not quite sure what that is.
Bad vibes, mais laissez entrer l'amour, le plaisir, la fraternité.
ready for horn?
C'est bien. Et toi? Quoi? Tu travailles encore?
Probably didn't even need to indicate, but...
Fin des 70s.
Oh, there it is again. I'm not taking damage. Interesting. Just that big mechanical clunking noise. Oh, that was bad. That was actually just really fucking bad. Damn. Well. Live and learn. The rust is real. And there's the mechanical sound. That was close. A mechanical noise strikes back. Maybe just once I reach a certain speed it clunks. Oh jeez. You right there, buddy? Oh, another alright.
C'est encore une affaire de famille. Roger Troutman, Larry Troutman, Lester, Tony et Terry Zapp Troutman.
That's a mechanical noise again, I'm pretty sure.
Terry Zapp Troutman qui joue du talkbox.
I'm gonna find out what that is.
Zapp débute en 78, signe à la Warner en 79, 79 pour les Frenchies, et cartonne en 80 avec More Bounce to the Ounce.
This journey's gonna take a lot more than an hour, I think. Well, I've been like 25 minutes and I've gone not quite 300 miles yet. Been faster if there wasn't a mysterious limiter. Careful. Kind of nervous overtaking, but we did it. I mean, I can't see anyone. Show my map bigger. Hey. Welcome to Germany.
Words in papers, words in books, words on TV, words from books, words on words of peace, words to make the fighting cease, words to tell you what to do, words are working hard for you. Eat your words but don't go hungry. Words have always nearly had me. Words of nuance, words of skill, and words of romance are untrue. Words are stupid, words are fun. Words can put you on the run. Pressé, sensé, mots qui disent la vérité. Mots maudits, mots mentis, mots qui portent le fruit d'esprit.
Oh.
It's a rap race with fast pace. Concrete words, abstract words, crazy words, flying words, hazy words, and dying words. Words of faith that tell us straight. Rare words and swear words. Good words and bad words.
I feel like having armrests on the chair just end up not helping me in the slightest. Because I'll rest my elbows on them when I'm playing a game, and then my hands just start going dead after like half an hour or something.
Words can make you pay and pay. Legend words I cannot say. Words are trauma, words are
800 miles to go. Oh boy. Oops. Not bad. I'm disappointed in the KTFM playlist though. I might pull over and just put my own music on. I'm interested in hearing what Spotify has suggested for me today. So this is a good song. Okay, this is a good song. They're keeping me interested. Someone must have heard my complaints. Oh. I'm being rused.
Nous qui n'avons plus aujourd'hui que cheveux courts, beaux habits et voitures surélevées, ayons une pensée émue pour cette époque pas si lointaine où nous n'étions que cheveux gras, pulls trop grands et mobilettes. Ayons une pensée attendrie pour cette époque où, dans un dénuement quasi total mais pleinement assumé car inconscient, principalement par manque de thunes, de ce consumérisme forcené dont nous serions plus tard les victimes consentantes. Cette époque, disais-je, où nous écoutions des titres simples mais puissants tels que Stanley Clarke et George Duke. Heroes. Écoutez bien la basse, ça enchaîne.
Now what's this song? I don't know. Oh, I know this song. Never mind. to me later.
Her name is Lola. She was a showgirl, but that was 30 years ago when they used to have a show. Now it's a disco, but not for Lola. Still in the dress she used to wear, faded feathers in her hair. She sits there so real.
My leash. Oh damn.
Blind. She lost her youth and she lost her Tony. Now she lost her mind at the
An unhealthy obsession with nut. I'll have you know, nut is full of protein. Nut is healthy. One nut a day keeps the doctor away, you know? Five brings you ever closer. Oh no. Shit. I was gonna call you your new name from Guild Wars, but I can't remember what it is.
Wow, vous êtes toujours là? Félicitations, ainsi vous ne manquerez pas.
I just call you Futaton.
Curtis Blow.
It's fine. Rie Mextrum. Mexturm. Rie Mexturm. Right, Rie Mexturm.
Vamos a la playa, Riguera.
Well, it could just be Rie or Rai. I don't know. I'm gonna say Rie.
Sabu, rock and roll in disco queen.
If it's all about Futa, they're probably weebs, right?
Spacer, Sheila. Ah, mais attention, hein, sans les couettes.
So I'm gonna say Rie.
Navel, Playgirl et bien d'autres surprises. Vous écoutez Vos années Ketty, l'émission qui met ton père et ta mère dans tous leurs états. Eh ouais, ça déchire.
Pretty like Rai. Yeah. It's tough. Oh, this fucking song though. Look at this convoy. One truck equals one nut. Check Discord, Pi. Check Discord, and it was next level. It was like you yourself cursed me. Like, check the time when I woke up. I was like, I took the screenshot. It's like fucking 3 AM. And then as I was like uploading it, I was like, wait, 3.14. Are you kidding me? Gather the tribute or face my nut. My liege. Alright. I guess I'm in Belgium now, and I didn't realize. Easy escape. The top 10, top 10, top 10 humiliating top 10s in which top 10s are depressing now. Top 10. Lerm. We need to go to northern Spain because I heard that weed may be legal there. Whoa, hey Bat, hey Hawk. Top 10 brutal RNG anime death games. Oh yeah. Top 10 brutal anime nuts. 18 plus. NSFW. Yes. Yo, thanks to the host. Ah, that moment when you realize you have the wrong image. I don't want the blue. You think Christian mums for justice would listen to a Jew? Come on, man. A Diablo Hero daily? Wow. You know. I hope I get a Diablo Hero daily. That feels redundant, right? Most people want justice. Sonya Valor. I need to take Cassia. What are you doing, mate? Get out of my lane. Come on. Overwatch Hero Daily. For I am justice itself. Oh no, lag. Don't crash into me. Don't do it. Don't do it. Excuse my lag. Oh god. Oh, I'm so sorry. That was disgusting lag. It was filthy. Oh, this road's so bumpy. Oh, hey. Ingaloo, hold on, please pause the game. No, sorry. KTFM jingle. KTFM. Oh, who's whispering? KTFM.
Clap your hands, everybody, if you got what it takes. Cause I'm Curtis Blow, and I want you to know that these are the brains.
Né le
Oh,
9
baby.
1959, Curtis Walker se choisit un nom d'artiste.
They better be playing this. This better not be a ruse.
Curtis Blow, mot qui peut signifier tout un tas de choses sympas comme explosion, cocaïne ou petite gâterie buccale. Ça c'est pour l'anecdote. Mais plus intéressant, notre ami Curtis a été sans doute la première star du hip-hop grâce à The Breaks, sorti en 1979 et considéré comme le premier rap de l'histoire au sens actuel du mot.
Breaks on the bus, breaks on the car, breaks to make you a superstar, breaks to win and breaks to lose. It's easier breaks to rock your shoes, and these are the brains. Break it up, break it up, break it up.
It's the KTFM remix. It's not the same if you don't have a French dude talking who you can't understand. I'm not going through that massively fucked up junction, am I? Yeah, it's Swiss. Hello? I mean, maybe Geneva associates with the French. Maybe Switzerland's like Belgium, right? Where they just do whatever they want. Just take all the languages around them and then just talk them all, right?
If you deserve a break tonight, somebody say, alright. Say ho. You don't stop, I keep on. Somebody scream. Break down.
You better break. Alright, I'm driving past them anyway. I'm too fast. Romansh. That's a language.
Breaks on the stage, breaks on the screen, breaks to make your wallet lean. Breaks run cold, breaks run hot. Some folks gotta be some have not, but these are the
Dude, like,
break it up, break it up, break it up, break down.
I wish, honestly, that our schools were more... don't know how to describe it. More pushing with, like, foreign languages, you know?
Around to the guy in blue. What you gonna do?
It's the kind of thing you'd hate as a kid, but then when you're older, you're like, shit, this is useful, right? Where's the map telling me to go? I don't need fuel.
Break down.
To be fair, I would have actually learned Spanish if we had it as an option, but we have French and German. And I didn't really care about either at the time. I'd have probably done German. Like, you know, thinking about it now, with hindsight, I've probably done German. We did from year 7, oh god, lag. From year 7 to halfway through year 8 we did French. And then from halfway through year 8 to the end of year 9 we did German. And then, you know, we had the choice of either one as a GCSE, but honestly, like, French and German for us were just slacking off classes and the teachers didn't really care, right?
Salut les jeunes, salut à tous, bienvenue pour ce hit parade, ça commence.
Alors commençons. Un beau jour, Stefano Rota et Stefano Reggi décidèrent de se faire appeler Michael et Johnson Rigueira. Allez savoir pourquoi. Un peu comme s'ils étaient des frères d'origine portugaise, alors qu'ils n'étaient ni frères, ni portugais, mais italiens. Et comme ils se plaisaient à déclarer alors frères par leur prénom. Et en plus, ils aimaient bien chanter en espagnol. Leur chanson Vamos a la playa a paradé tout en haut des charts en Italie et a largement dépassé les frontières de la péninsule ibérique, enfin italienne. Entré dans le hit parade le 7 août 83, en 3 semaines seulement, il se classe numéro 1. Tout de suite après, nous écouterons Une petite douceur, une balade dans ce monde de brut, Michael Field, Moonlight Shadow, 2e du hit parade dans la même période. Bienvenue dans vos années Kitty, là où vous écoutez la radio comme dans les années 80.
Yeah. It is one of my regrets for school not taking our language. It's not cool when I'm doing now actually, but it's something I have no idea how to start rectifying, you know? Yeah, man, like I had some horrible placements with some of my subjects, like clashes. When you're just like, I would like to do 3 of these, but they're in the same block. Like, we had drama, business studies, and physical education in the same block, right? And I was like, all these are pretty good. Can I choose one? Sure, than Russia. That's pretty good. You the Christian mess. Luckily for GCSEs, I had no clashes with science, so I got to take them all separately. Like, I think it was triple science. So you know, I had a lot of science during my last 2 years at school, and it was great. I can love science. I wouldn't have minded. I don't know. I did used to love chemistry. And biology. Physics was like, eh. My chemistry teacher was like a mad scientist. I loved him. No. Trying to think what my 4 GCSE choices were. It's triple science. PE. ICT. Oh, and geography, which I completely flunked because I realized I didn't give a shit. There's like, yeah, I don't know. There was 2 subjects I didn't care about. The rest of the alright on. Which was geography and personal health and social education. I got 6 A's, 3 B's, and 2 D's. The A's were the sciences, maths,
Power play.
ICT, and English lit or language? I can't remember if it was lit or language. And then the B's were RE, PE, English lit or language. And these are geography and personal health and social education. I'm proud of these though, because I did no coursework and I got these, so whatever. I think it was lit I got an A in, because I was shocked, because like I hated English lit, I loved language, and then when I got my results I was like, the fuck? I remember my physics paper quite well. Different coloured sheets. Good old sheeps. Yeah, sure. I will gladly read fanfics on stream. Like, with English literature, I wrote an essay and my teacher like gave me like, you know, some corrections and stuff and said, oh, you could raise this from like a C to an A. And I was just like, just submit it. I don't give a shit. Like, I really just, English literature just truly apathetic towards it. I mean, I'm sure people appreciate, you know, studying it. But I don't just sit there trying to interpret what the author is trying to portray with random bullshit. I think that the first essay, I put effort in. And then I realized all the other essays are going to be kind of the same. And I was like, oh no. I mean, that's true, but I found it horrendously boring. You know, like when you would rather do literally anything else than what you are doing right at that, you know. Or you just rather be anywhere else, doing anything else for that. I think we did poetry. We did Romeo and Juliet. No, not Romeo and Juliet. What the fuck am I on about? We did a Shakespeare. I forget the name of it. We did. Oh man, I'm forgetting the names. Of Mice and Men. And there's another one as well.
Je vais chercher mon pas de def et je reviens pour la suite. Ah, mais je l'ai mis où? Ouah, je l'ai. Yes!
Retrouvez vos séries critiques 24h/24 sur TFM.ch.
I don't know. The fine arts is not really something I can appreciate, you know. Unless there's just a sick painting or a picture and I'm like, whoa, that looks cool. But shit like poetry and stuff, I just switch off. Books, I don't have the patience to read anymore. I just... Maybe English ruined books for me. I got mail. Yeah, like you go pick every little part out, right? Yeah. Well, like I said earlier, that right? Like, I wouldn't mind learning Japanese, but it's where to start, right? And languages is the kind of thing where I'd like to take a physical class. If I'm left to learn something online by myself, I'm not gonna do it. Like, I know myself, right? I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna read it and be like, cool, and then forget about it by the next day, you know?
Le groupe Chic lui compose l'album King of the World. Chic, c'est deux papes du disco-funk de la fin des 70s, Nile Rodgers et Bernard Edwards, qui produiront plus tard.
Like, I would honestly not mind spending a few years in Japan.
L'un des titres de l'album devient rapidement un tube mondial.
But there's many countries where I might spend a few years, right? I mean, I would say Spain, but I've spent many months of my life there anyway, right? Just places where the culture is quite different. Maybe. I don't know where to start. You know, I mean, I could just Google, hey, language classes, Bristol. Super Ashi. Ningen. Yukaitas. But back up. I just missed my turn in. This is fine now. There's literally a place called the Bristol, like, I didn't know that. It saddens me that people in the Discords I'm in use Ningen as a meme to, you know, use it instead of a different word, and it's, I don't know, it's upsetting. Because I genuinely love Samasu and how he's just all the time Ningen. Goku Black was super ashy. Wait, is that NASA thing happening? NASA? Are we talking about the space agency or the North? What are you doing, man? Come on.
C'était vos nombreuses années, Katie.
I didn't see any reason why I
Réalisée avec la
wouldn't.
complicité de Pierre Jean-Marquis et Jean-Luc Smiquert. La teuf continue 24h sur
So,
24 sur KTFM.
some of the people seem to be cancerous memers during that last year.
N'oubliez pas, vivez l'instant présent intensément. C'était Ben au micro. Allez,
There's one thing being less restricted than GDQ,
ciao.
and then just cancerous memes.
2, 1.
I mean, it didn't kill GDQ last year. I actually do love Zamasu.
Uno, dos,
Man,
uno,
I don't know.
tres, cuatro.
I think it's actually just pronounced Zamas, but I'm just saying Zamasu.
Bienvenue dans vos années, Katie.
Zamas! This looks like an easy park actually. Probably could line this up better at the start, but with a chest. Yeah, we'll see how it's dubbed, I guess. I'll go with that version. Mate, look at that for first park back. Reasonable. I did crash. I did take some damage. But that wasn't bad. Zamas. Go us. Where's my drive button? Email. Oh, yeah, these people left. Okay. Goodbye. Is the drive button down there? Yeah. Probably should turn my lights on. Alright. That was enjoyable. I can see what my hot stadies are, and if they're Diablo or Assassin, then I'm probably just gonna play 3 matches on stream and then come off. If they're not dailies I want, then whatever. I'm just gonna leave. Firstly, I need to put my monitor back to a reasonable resolution. I can't remember. I think it was that one. Ooh, don't want song request on. HGC now live.